Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Roxanne. If it's your first time here, then welcome. Today I want to do the comfort reads tag. Is it comfort or cozy? Yes, comfort reading tag. Comfort reads and the comfort reading tag. So, but question number one is a book that makes any day better. So for me, the past year, when I really wanted something uplifting and just to make me smile and chuckle and just for, I don't know, something that just felt like reading about friends and being among friends. I love the Giant Days graphic novel series. I think I am almost done with it, which is really sad because I think it is done. So once I get to the end, I won't get any more. And so I read a lot of it during the last year and I absolutely loved it, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for kind of like a slice of life type of graphic novel. A book that reminds you of a loved one. So for me, that would be either Don Quixote or When I Was Puerto Rican by Esmeralda de Santiago, which I talk about all the time. Both of those have been recommended to me, or both of those were recommended to me by my mother all the time. She read When I Was Puerto Rican as a kid in school, and I think in high school or something they had to read Don Quixote, and she thought that I would really get along with it because of his sort of relationship to stories and that aspect of his personality and how ingrained they are into who he is as a character, that she thought I would really connect with him and enjoy it. And so those two always remind me of my mom. A book with vivid prose or imagery. For me, one of the most vivid books that I have ever read is The Night Circus. I think The Night Circus was one of the answers that Olive gave in her video as well. I know that a lot of people love it and a lot of people hate this book, but I have read it a couple times now and always absolutely love it. There's just something completely just breathtaking and sweeping about it that I absolutely love. And I can feel and I can sense everything that she writes. So a book that keeps you going and encourages you. So a book this year that is this is a sad book, but within its absolutely heartbreaking story, there are so many instances of strength and looking for the positive and trying to just be the best person that she can be. And it is one of my favorite nonfiction reads of the year, and it was Know My Name by Chanel Miller. And this is not really a comforting read, but it's not a comforting read at all. But when you come out of it, you just left with this intense, just, I don't know, emotion, because she just wrote it so beautifully and is such an eloquent, beautiful writer, but she's such a strong person. And I follow her on Instagram as well, and you just see how she just tries to just be better and be like a good person and a positive influence, and just use everything that she unfortunately had to endure and you know, make something good of it. And that is so empowering. So a book that makes you laugh. So Giant Days, again, definitely always makes me laugh, but Nevermore by Jessica Townsend, you see them right here, they make me laugh a lot. She the characters, especially the giant talking cat, is probably the best cat character I've ever read. And yeah, it's just really silly and funny, and I chuckle all the time when I do reread it often. Sometimes I just have it on as an audiobook in the background while I'm falling asleep. What do you read when you're in bed all day? So for me, that would be a mystery, and this year I have completely fallen in love with the writing of Elizabeth George. Her books are somewhere that way, but despite the fact that they are not perfect by any means, they are, many of their some of the writing is outdated and definitely a reflection of the time in which it was written. I cannot get over how much I love them and how much I love the writing, and how I think about those books all the time, and how I am constantly having to like stop myself from picking them up because I have a lot kind of waiting for me, because they are priority for next year, and the books that I had at the beginning of the year are priority for this year. But I'm almost to January, so I can pick them up, and honestly, I haven't been able to stop thinking about them. I love them that much. A book that brings you solace no matter how many times you read it. This is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Actually, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen could also be a book that keeps me going and encourages me, and a book that makes any day better, because it's my favorite book of life. I read it every single year. I love it so much. It's like my favorite story, and yeah, it's always going to bring me solace and happiness and every positive feeling you can think of. A book that restores your faith in humanity. So if we're going fiction, I just happened to look up at my shelf, and my eye landed on Matilda, and it restores my faith in humanity, obviously because of the teacher, not because of her parents or Mrs. Trunchbull or whatever, but Mrs. Honey, I think her name is. She's just like such a delight and is such an encouraging person in Matilda's life, and I just love it. And then for nonfiction, I thought of Just Mercy because of, again, and it's similar to kind of Know My Name by Chanel. These are not comforting reads, but they're reads that you can take something really positive out of. And the work that the author and the organization that he works for do in helping incarcerated individuals and to raise awareness on the failings of our justice system, and helping people who are in death row, and just so much amazing work. It really does just restore your faith in humanity. A cozy comfort basket for your neighbor. So one of the the person that I think about who would love and enjoy cozy things as much as I is my coworker at one of the libraries that I work at, and she's a very crafty person. So it would be it would have like knitting in it and some chocolates. And I think there's a book actually that Olive over at a book Olive read, I think, about knitting and knitting a sweater or something like that, and she really enjoyed it, if I'm not mistaken. So something like that. Maybe a few like books, informational books on how to better your knitting, or some I don't know, examples. I don't knit or sew or any fabric craft at all, so I have no idea what any of those things are called, but it would have all of those things in them. And then a toy for her cat as well. And then number 10, a book with beautiful nature writing. So one of my favorite nature writing books is H is for Hawk. It's nature, like animals, but for a book that was very good for just the natural atmosphere. It's because it just felt so cold, and if you felt the nature of the story is Burial Rites by Hannah Kent, I believe her name is. Yeah, which is a fictionalized retelling of the last woman to be sentenced to death and to like die by being sentenced to death in Greenland, I believe it was. And it was the nature writing in that I found it to be absolutely beautiful as well. So those are the comfort read questions. If you enjoyed this tag, feel free to do it. I love anything that is cozy or comforting. I know I talked about books that really weren't comforting, but like I said, they are books that when you put them down, there's an intense feeling, and that can lead to good things. So yes, thank you for watching and for listening. I love you all very much.